A silent traveler cuts through the darkness of space, carrying no flag, no voice, yet stirring questions across the world. They named it 3I/ATLS, but names alone cannot capture its meaning. To many, it is just another comet. To those who listen deeper, it is a messenger, revealing truths that are easy to miss if we only look with the eyes and not with the mind. In this video, we will step beyond astronomy and into wisdom. You will hear how Shaolin teachings remind us that every outer sign mirrors an inner lesson. You will learn why this sudden visitor challenges us to pause, to awaken, and to look at the unseen parts of life we often ignore. 3I/ATLS did not follow the safe and predictable path. It entered from the unknown, crossing through our skies with a message hidden in its movement. In Shaolin practice, when something breaks patterns, it signals an opening, a chance to grow, to renew, to shift into higher clarity. Stay with me, because as we unfold this story, you will not only understand more about this comet, but also discover how it reflects your own path of self-mastery. Fear and wonder always follow such signs, but the truth is deeper. Ancient records spoke of wanderers like this as signals of cycles ending and new beginnings taking root. If we are present, these lessons can refine us, teaching strength, stillness, and the courage to move into the unknown. This journey is not just about the skies, it is about you. Welcome to Shaolin Soulfire. If you seek clarity, discipline, and the wisdom hidden in life's signs, then join us, subscribe, and let us walk this path of awakening together. Everything we know is passing. The comet streaks across the sky for a moment, then disappears into the vast dark, leaving behind no trace but memory. This is the way of all things. Shaolin wisdom calls this impermanence. Nothing in life is fixed. Not joy, not pain, not even the breath we take right now. To deny this truth is to suffer. To accept it is to begin walking the path of mastery. The comet teaches by its nature. It shines brightly, yet only for a short while. In this, it is no different from seasons, friendships, victories, or even the struggles we face. We long to hold on, to freeze what is fleeting, but the sky reminds us, grasping only brings sorrow. The wise do not cling. They learn to meet each moment fully, then let it pass when its time has ended. In Shaolin practice, impermanence is not an enemy. It is the rhythm of life itself. A martial form flows like water. Each movement exists only once, then dissolves into the next. To master the form is not to fix it in stone, but to meet its changing shape with full awareness. The comet mirrors this same truth. When we see something rare, we often wish it could remain forever. But permanence is not the gift. The gift is the reminder to cherish the moment while it is here. The brief spark of the comet is enough to stir reflection, enough to awaken us from sleep. So it is with all of life. People enter and leave, circumstances rise and fall, even the strongest body will one day fade. The only constant is change itself. True strength is not in holding, but in meeting change with balance, clarity, and peace. Most paths in the sky are predictable. Planets circle the sun in steady patterns, asteroids follow familiar routes. But 3I/ATLS moves differently. It enters from far beyond, crossing through space on a course unlike the rest. Its presence reminds us of something the ancients understood well. True growth begins when we step beyond what is familiar. Routine is safe. It offers comfort and certainty, like the steady orbit of a planet. Yet the Shaolin path teaches that if we only repeat the same steps, we do not awaken. Discipline is not meant to trap us in patterns, but to give us strength to break through them when the time comes. The comet shows us this lesson in motion. In life, we often remain where it feels secure. The same habits, the same thoughts, the same responses. But just as the comet refuses to follow the common orbit, mastery calls us to leave the circles that keep us asleep. To choose the unknown is not easy. It stirs fear, because the mind clings to what it understands. Yet within that uncertainty lies transformation. The old masters spoke of walking the empty path. It meant moving where no map exists. guided only by awareness and inner clarity. This is the essence of training, building such discipline of body and mind that even in the unknown you remain steady. 3I/ATLS reminds us that life's greatest movements do not always follow familiar tracks. Sometimes, the way forward is a departure. Sometimes, the orbit must be broken. To live with mastery is to carry discipline strong enough to walk into the uncharted, not as a wanderer lost, but as a seeker prepared to discover. This is where renewal begins, where the unknown reveals its hidden gift. There are moments when the sky itself interrupts our routines. A rare comet appears, and suddenly people lift their heads, their attention pulled away from the noise of daily life. For a brief time, the ordinary loses its grip, and the vastness above reminds us of how small, yet how deeply connected we truly are. Mindfulness carries this same power. It is the practice of pausing, of returning to the present moment as if it were a sky full of stars. Most of the time the mind drifts in circles, regrets of the past, worries of the future. Yet when something rare occurs, like ATLS crossing our skies, we remember the importance of presence. We remember to simply stop, breathe, and observe. The ancient Shaolin masters taught that awareness is the root of all mastery. Without awareness, strength becomes reckless, knowledge becomes confusion, and even discipline becomes empty repetition. To pause is not weakness, it is preparation. It is the sharpening of the mind before action, the stillness that allows clarity to rise. The comet's sudden arrival reflects this teaching. It interrupts our gaze, forcing us to notice what we normally overlook. In that same way, mindfulness interrupts the endless flow of thought and emotion, offering us a chance to wake up, to be present fully. Even if just for one breath, is to touch the essence of life itself. Rare events remind us that awareness cannot be postponed. The opportunity is now, always now. The comet will vanish and the moment will pass. But those who pause and look upward carry the lesson within. Mindfulness is not just meditation on a cushion. It is the daily act of remembering to stop, to see, and to live awake in each fleeting moment. Across the sky, a comet moves with tremendous force. Its tail stretches for millions of miles. Its speed defies imagination, and yet it makes no sound. Power without noise. Energy carried in silence. This is a lesson written in the heavens, one the Shaolin tradition has echoed for centuries. True mastery is not about showing strength at every moment. It is about carrying strength quietly, with restraint and balance. In the training hall, movements may look soft, yet within them lies great force. The still stance of a practitioner, unmoving, contains more power than 1,000 restless gestures. The comet mirrors this truth. It blazes through space, yet its voice is silence. Energy without stillness becomes chaos. Stillness without energy becomes emptiness. The path of mastery is to unite both. Shaolin monks were taught that discipline is the bridge between the two. Through discipline, energy is cultivated, sharpened, made strong. Through mindfulness, it is tempered, softened, made clear. Together they create balance, the harmony of strength and calm. The ancients described this as yin and yang, motion held by stillness, force balanced by quiet. A warrior who cannot be still is a danger to himself. A seeker who cannot act is trapped in illusion. The comet teaches us that both qualities must exist at once. In daily life, this means carrying energy with calmness, meeting challenges with strength, yet not anger, pursuing goals with intensity, yet not desperation. The silent comet reminds us, true power does not need to shout, it does not need to prove itself. It simply moves, steady and bright, its silence speaking louder than thunder. And in learning this balance, we too begin to walk the path of mastery. For centuries, people have looked to the skies and read meaning in the movement of comets. To ancient eyes, their sudden appearance signaled the closing of one age and the birth of another. Whether seen as omen or blessing, they carried the same message: endings are not final, they are gateways. The Shaolin path carries this wisdom inward. Renewal does not come by clinging to what has already passed. It comes through discipline, the steady practice of letting go. Just as a tree must shed its leaves before new growth can appear, so too must we release attachments that no longer serve us. This shedding is not weakness. It is the strength to trust the rhythm of change. Discipline becomes the tool that clears the old. Through training, the body learns to move without wasted tension. Through meditation, the mind learns to release old stories and stale emotions. In silence, we begin to feel the layers fall away, leaving space for something fresh to arise. Without discipline, renewal is only a wish. With discipline, it becomes a living reality. The comet in its passing reminds us that cycles are natural. No season holds forever. No struggle or triumph defines the whole path. When we accept this, we stop fighting against endings. We begin to see them as necessary steps, the preparation for what comes next. Ancient masters taught that renewal is not found in waiting, but in practice. Every day is an ending and a beginning. Every breath releases the old and welcomes the new. The comet writes this truth in the heavens, while the Shaolin way teaches us to live it here on earth, disciplined, awake, and ready for the transformation that follows surrender. When a comet appears, it often stirs unease. Throughout history, such events have been linked with disaster, war, or great upheaval. People feared them because they could not explain them. The unknown has always unsettled the human mind. Yet the comet itself carries no malice. It simply reflects what lives inside those who look upon it. Shaolin wisdom teaches that fear is not born from the object we face, but from the state of our own mind. An untrained mind meets the unknown and trembles. A trained mind meets the same unknown and becomes still, curious, open. The difference lies not in the comet, but in the observer. Fear is natural, but it is also a teacher. It reveals the edges of our comfort, the places where discipline has not yet reached. When the body shakes during training, the monk learns not to run, but to breathe, to settle deeper into the movement. In the same way, when fear rises at the sight of the unfamiliar, we are invited to meet it with awareness rather than escape. The comet becomes a mirror. If we see chaos, it reflects the chaos within us. If we see wonder, it reflects our openness. Its silence does not impose meaning. It only shows us what we carry. To look at it with fear is to learn where we are bound. To look at it with stillness is to see how free we might become. The ancients understood this. They knew that great signs in the sky were not curses, but calls to strengthen the mind. The unknown will always appear. Mastery is found not in controlling it, but in preparing ourselves, so that when the mirror is held up, we recognize the truth it shows and walk forward without trembling. Transformation rarely arrives in gentle ways. It comes like fire, demanding something from us, stripping away what is weak, testing what is strong. A comet knows this truth. As it travels, it is scorched by the sun, its body breaking, fragments falling away. Yet in that process, it shines brighter than ever. Its trial is also its beauty. Our lives move through the same pattern. Growth is never born in comfort. It emerges in the moments when pressure weighs heavy, when old layers are burned away. Shaolin practice embraces this truth through discipline. The body is pushed beyond limits. The mind is trained to endure silence. The heart is guided to release attachment. None of this feels easy, but all of it is necessary. The ancients spoke of the furnace of life. They believed that character is like raw metal, strong in potential, but not yet refined. Only when it passes through fire does it become a blade, capable of cutting through illusion and weakness. Transformation demands the same. Without heat, we remain unshaped. With it, we awaken to our true form. The comet's journey reminds us that fragmentation is not the end. Pieces fall away, but what remains continues forward, carrying the essence of its being. In our own trials, parts of us may be lost. Old habits, false identities, limiting beliefs. Their loss may feel painful, but they were never meant to endure. They fall so that the core of who we are can continue, brighter, lighter, stronger. Discipline helps us endure this fire without breaking. Awareness teaches us to see beyond the pain into the purpose. Transformation is not punishment, it is preparation. Just as the comet's fire gives it radiance, our struggles, embraced with clarity, give us the light of true mastery. The path of a comet is not random. Though it seems sudden, though it cuts across the sky in ways unfamiliar, it is still guided by the pull of greater forces. Gravity, time, and unseen currents shape its motion. It belongs to a vast design, one far greater than itself. Life follows the same order. Every choice, every action, every thought is part of an unseen web. We may believe we act alone, but each step creates ripples. What we do today shapes tomorrow, not only for ourselves but for the world around us. The comet's passage is a reminder that nothing stands apart. Everything moves within a greater flow. Shaolin training is the sharpening of awareness to this truth. Through discipline, the body learns to move in harmony with breath. Through meditation, the mind learns to rest in silence, seeing beyond the surface. Over time, a student begins to sense the deeper patterns, the way each moment connects to another, the way personal choices align with universal law. Ancient masters called this alignment the way. To walk the way is not to force life into submission, but to move with its current, like water flowing with the river. When one trains in this spirit, even challenges are no longer obstacles. They are understood as part of the design, opportunities to grow within the flow rather than resist it. The comet reminds us there is order even in what appears uncertain. To live with mastery is to attune ourselves to this order, to act not blindly but with clarity, not in separation but in harmony. In this alignment, strength is not wasted, peace is not disturbed, and life itself becomes a practice of walking with the universe rather than against it. When a comet like Atlas crosses the sky, the world looks upward in awe. Yet its true meaning is not written in the heavens. It is written in how we respond here on earth. The sign is not the lesson itself. It is the doorway to reflection. The lesson begins with us. Ancient traditions always understood this. They did not gaze at the stars simply to predict the future. They looked to them as mirrors, reminders of the hidden forces within human life. A comet arriving unexpectedly was a call to examine one's own path. Were we living with awareness or drifting like dust? Were we disciplined or bound by old habits? The answer mattered more than the comet's fire in the sky. Mastery means transforming outer signs into inner strength. When we see Atlas blaze across the night, we can choose to let it pass as a spectacle, or we can let it awaken something deeper. Its fleeting presence can inspire us to sharpen our focus, to renew our discipline, to bring more clarity into our choices. Shaolin teaching holds that purpose is not found in waiting for destiny, but in living awake to each moment. The comet is a reminder of impermanence. It shows us that life's openings appear suddenly, then vanish. To live with mastery is to recognize these openings and act with courage, guided by awareness. The sky may reveal wonders, but the real transformation happens in the heart and mind. Atlas carries its message, but it is our discipline that turns it into wisdom, our clarity that makes it useful, and our purpose that gives it power. In this way, the sign above becomes strength within, guiding us not just to look upward, but to live awakened here on earth. The comet passes, yet the teaching remains. Its light fades into darkness, but the message is clear. Life is always moving, always changing, always asking us to wake up. When we look beyond fear, beyond distraction, we see that these signs are not distant. They are reflections of our own path. Impermanence reminds us to cherish each moment. Presence calls us to return to now. Transformation shows us that struggle can refine us, and alignment teaches us to live in harmony with the greater flow. These are not lessons for the sky. They are lessons for the heart, to be lived here today in the small choices and the quiet moments of daily life. When you practice awareness, even the simplest act becomes sacred. When you cultivate discipline, even challenges become steps forward. And when you live with purpose, the mystery of the universe is no longer far away. It is alive within you. Thank you for walking this path with me. May these reflections guide you towards strength, clarity, and peace. If these teachings speak to you, Support our journey by liking this video and subscribing to our channel Shaolin Soulfire. Together, let us continue to awaken.